Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and edition of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Friday. It is Friday, April the 7th, 2023. Of course, as always, your host, Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci back in the house. And of course, we got ourselves a loaded show coming today. How you doing? How you feeling? It's Friday. It's a feel-good Friday.
I'm excited about that. The weather ain't so great, but
it's been nice and warm. It's nice behind us.
Yeah, but it's raining currently.
Is it currently raining?
It's absolutely currently.
It wasn't even raining when I
raining.
got here, and I got here like 5 minutes before you.
It's
in the you're right. Look, it's a cloudy day.
It stopped raining.
I told you.
I
not
looked
raining.
at the phone.
It's Friday, baby. No rain here, baby.
And you know how your screen has it'll say if it's raining, it'll just be raining on your screen.
Well, no rain here.
No more rain.
Anyway, we have plenty to get into today. We'll talk about last night's NBA slate. The NBA action that's about to head up towards the weekend is the final weekend of the NBA regular season. So obviously, we will have a playoff bracket ready to rock by Monday morning. So we'll make our predictions there, but we'll go over some of the predictions we might be seeing over the course of the next weekend. We got some news about Cam Newton, which was actually kind of funny. We'll have fun with it. And, of course, we'll end it with some running back discussions. But, of course, we want to start in the NBA. Lots to discuss. Last night in particular, we talked about, you said it kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but maybe you could actually back it up and be confident with it now. The Suns beat up on the number one seed last night, 119, 115. Durant goes for 29. Chris Paul goes for 25. How dangerous can this team be once they get going?
You saw the way they played yesterday. I think they had 15 combined threes between the two of those guys. I don't think that's going to be the norm, but 8-0 when Durant's playing. Yeah. You could get used to that. I don't want to run into them.
They've won 7 straight games right now.
But 8-0 with Durant.
Yeah, overall with Durant, yeah. But, 7 straight, 7 early. They lost 3 in a row, and then they ripped off 7. They're 7-3 in their last 10.
They're on their way right now, and it's at the perfect time. If the playoffs started right now, who would you think is the favorite to win the West?
Well, we've been talking about it all week, how the West, the top-heavy West, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of – I don't want to say they're not threats, but, I just look at the Suns as a better team than the rest.
I think what would have happened is it would be bar none clear cut if KD didn't get hurt. KD got hurt, so it kind of poured a little bit of cold water on the Suns for a little bit, and now there's so many other big games happening. The Suns are the 4, but that's a dangerous team in the postseason. Clearly, when they got KD, I thought that they were the favorites.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we kind of just – things didn't work out because of the injury.
Simmer down because he's not in the game, so that's why you have to simmer it down.
But yeah,
so again, the Suns get a big win last night. They're steamrolling into the final weekend. Last night, the Utah Jazz were officially eliminated by OKC. Mm-hmm. Dallas were sitting there idle, and they wanted so bad for the Utah Jazz to spoil the party, but they did not do that. So looking at this weekend ahead, again, there's games tonight that matter. There's games on Saturday that matter. Saturday's a little bit of a lighter slate, but the entire league plays on Sunday. So 15 games on Sunday to wrap up the league. A lot to get into. So you're looking at the standings right now, and what it seems to me is that 1 through 4 are locked in place. You got the Denver Nuggets at top. The Memphis Grizzlies, again, with 2 games to play, down 2 games, you would think that's over, so they'll lock in the 2. The Sacramento Kings, again, out of nowhere, really. I say out of nowhere. It just doesn't. When I think Sacramento Kings, I don't think playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
We could say out of nowhere, but now at this point, it's like they have been who they have been all season long.
Exactly.
So we expected it.
They're 5-5 in their last 10, so they need to pick it up over the weekend. But they're 48-32. They're the 3rd seed. The 4th seed looks to be locked as the aforementioned Suns that we were just talking about. Now this is where it gets tricky and sticky. The LA Clippers right now are deadlock tied. Have the tiebreaker as far as head-to-head goes, but the Clippers and the Warriors are deadlocked tied at 42-38. They both have played 80 games. They have 2 left. Who out of those 2? I'm going to just go out and say.
You're asking me who? I couldn't tell you who because I'm not that in on the Clippers. I don't know much about them, but my favorite player in the NBA is Dame. So if you're asking me if Portland's going to get in.
Portland?
Did you just ask me if Portland?
No, it's time to wake up here on a Feel Good Friday. It is the Clippers and the Warriors.
I'm a little confused. So Clippers and Warriors, well, then still not the Clippers.
Well, that stands.
Bro, I think what was happening is I was reading.
What are you
Portland
reading?
at Clippers.
Oh, well, again, the Clippers need a couple wins to lock down the 5 seed, and they have Portland on the schedule over the weekend. They have them on Saturday. So that's, again, strength of
So
schedule
I was like, bro, Clippers at Portland at Clippers is written in front of me, and I'm like,
well, the playoffs didn't start yet. Anyway, so the Clippers have themselves a little bit of an easier road to try to lock down that 5 seed. While the Golden State Warriors, they play tonight at the Kings. So all of a sudden, the Warriors got that tough sledding. So if I'm making a prediction, the LA Clippers probably take the 5 seed.
but at which point were we looking at as tough sledding? How do we think these teams are going to play in the last game? You know, like they're already resting guys on back-to-backs and things like that.
I still can't believe that kind of stuff. Don't you want to be the higher seed?
Bro.
I don't get it.
Bro,
like, you get the extra home game.
No. If this is the last game of the season, there's a very, very good chance that through 82 games, a lot of these games have zero bearing on the seeding.
Well, I mean,
even as tight as they are, you know?
I mean, I'm looking right now, and after 5 and 6, you got 7 and 8, both deadlocked, same record. That's the Lakers and the New Orleans Pelicans. Over the weekend, the Lakers got the Suns tonight. So good luck. The Lakers have been reeling a little bit. They did lose their last game. They are 7-3 in their last 10. But the fact is that the Lakers, all of a sudden, while they're still picking things up where LeBron kind of left it, he got back into the lineup. They played better basketball. LeBron James is set up to be in the postseason once again. And I look at this team. I would love to see, as a fan from the outside, you know, obviously my Knicks are in the playoffs. That's locked. We don't even have to talk about the East right now. But when I'm looking at the West, I would love, if I have to watch and you have to make me sit through this playoff stuff, give me LeBron in those games. Give me LeBron in the 7 versus the 10 or whatever the case may be. Like, because I don't know, LeBron can catch the 6 or the 5, to be honest with you. It's crazy how tight it is. It's 1 game separation with 2 games left. Some of them are playing each other, so they kind of knock each other off here. But the big story before all this is obviously the teams that have locked in are basically locked in. But it's the Mavericks. I know we keep talking about this throughout the course of the week. There's fans out there that want them to it's crazy. If they win out, right, you would assume that somehow they sneak into that 10 spot. That means OKC would have had to falter at least once. When I think OKC, as a matter of fact, only has 1 game left.
With only 2 games left for a lot of these teams and 1 with OKC, it's not like you can't assume anything.
No, you can't.
OKC has to go out there and win a game. It could be all over. I'm assuming that Dallas at this point is done, realistically.
They're a half game out because of a game idle and game in hand. So, like, you're looking at an OKC who has 1 game left. If OKC wins their final game of the season on Sunday, they're in the playoffs and Dallas misses. So it's just like Dallas can go out there tonight, beat up on the Bulls, which they have to, and then you have to get back there on Sunday and win another game. You have to win out, and OKC has to lose their final game for you to get into the playoffs. So it's a little bit of a sticky situation.
If Dallas makes the playoffs, the Knicks get their draft pick, and if they don't, the Knicks don't.
Does that have to do with which trade was that?
Porzingis? Maybe a Tim Hardaway Porzingis type deal.
Maybe, I don't know.
Some point or
but
another.
In any event, I do know that the Dallas Mavericks are not only they're a half game out of the playoffs, but they're also a half game away from being in the lottery. And I know the way that plays out, you do get that pick, and that could turn out to be that missing piece if it's not Kyrie, because Kyrie's already told, or at least there's reports saying he's out.
With Thibodeau, it'll be like the missing piece of the back end of the bench.
Because he doesn't play anybody. That's true. So it is very interesting to see how this is all going to play out. It all goes down throughout the course of the weekend. Keep your eyes glued to the Mojo Market Report and the Mojo Market itself on the app, which is available on all the Apple Store and the Google Play and all that stuff. Go download the app. A lot of liquid props going around for you guys to make money this weekend. I was looking at a lot of them throughout the course of the last couple of days, and a lot of guys are scoring a lot of points. It's the last week of the season. Everybody's showing out. So I've been actually hitting on a lot of the overs. But as you stated, come Sunday, it could be a lot of laissez-faire basketball if you're already locked in. So maybe smack the unders. I don't know. That could be a thing. So
I feel like there's going to be a lot of scratches, little
DNPs. Right. It could be. So, all right. Let's move on to the NFL real quick, because this is a funny story that came out yesterday. Cam Newton obviously had his pro day, right? He goes out there, he throws. I didn't see one single article of saying like, oh man, he's got it. He's still got it. It's Cam Newton. Like, he's back. He hasn't been able to throw the football in years to me, what feels like years. I'm looking at Cam Newton now as like, all right, he might be out of the league, right? He goes on a podcast the other day, and he goes out there and simply says, hey, wait, hold on. I didn't say I wouldn't be a backup, right? I'll gladly be a backup. Why is that, Cam? Why is that? Because you may not be one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he is. You don't think he is. So he came out with a list yesterday of guys that he would potentially back up. I think it's hilarious that somebody is trying to call their shot as far as backing up somebody is concerned. And I don't know if there's an NFL team out there that would pay Cam Newton to be the backup quarterback. I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
No, I do know. Last year, he wasn't paid to be a backup quarterback. I mean, obviously.
Was he in the league last year?
Obviously, Cam Newton, former MVP, he's got a lot of fans. But Cam Newton, it's over for him. I'm not here to bash Cam. He's allowed to be confident in what he thinks he could do, but it's a little tone deaf to just decide you're going to name backup starting quarterbacks and in some cases backup quarterbacks that you'd back up when you were already Mac Jones backup.
Correct.
You
were benched.
Rookie Mac Jones backup, and that's not even a knock. It's
So just to be clear, he's also not in the Mojo Market. He is not. I just checked.
Also to be clear, Cam would back up every quarterback in the league if an NFL team was willing to pay Cam. So it's stupid.
But for him to come out with a list like this is just kind of, to me, it's comical. Here's the list. I'll go through them.
I know why Dave's mad.
Why? Because you didn't list the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I don't want Cam Newton. Anyway.
No. I'm just saying because it's like he wouldn't consider backing up Dak because he feels like he's better than Dak.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he is. So all right, so he's apparently willing to back what? What? On a Friday. Don't do this to me on a Friday.
Dave, you could take a joke, bro.
Oh, I sometimes I think, there could be some truth to that.
I mean, he's probably a better runner.
That's also false. Anyway, Baltimore Ravens, he wants to back up Lamar Jackson. How about Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen? Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson. The Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. Ready for this? The Tennessee Titans, Malik Willis. He didn't even list Ryan Tannehill. So he either A, doesn't know what's going on in the league, or B, just, he's being a jerk about it. Washington Commanders, he's willing to back up Sam Howell, he said.
That's the Ron Rivera thing, probably.
Sure, fine. He also said he's willing to back up Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback of the New York Football Jets. Once he gets there, eventually that's going to happen. And he also claims that he would be a young mentor to C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, and Anthony Richardson. Chris, out of the people I just listed and all the teams I just listed, is there a fit for a Cam Newton to be the backup? Like, is there a stylistic thing where, like, the teams wouldn't miss a beat? They would just miss a talent level a little bit? Like, does he play like any of these guys?
Maybe the Bears, maybe the Bills.
The Bills I could see because he is built bigger than your prototypical Justin Fields, who was smaller in size but can run.
The Commanders, maybe because
the Sam Howell thing is ridiculous.
But also because, like, the coaching situation over there, they've had, it's Bieniemy now calling the offense. I don't know, man. Like, he's saying he wouldn't be a mentor to Will Levis. Like, that would be your chance to start. What are you talking about? So you should mentor any young quarterback in the league. That has zero to do with it. It's like, I would mentor these guys. Not that would mean that you're starting or you're kind of bringing them along. Are they starting? I'm confused by it. I think everyone's confused by it. It really doesn't matter. Cam's not going to be on a team, so it's neither here nor there. That's my prediction. If Cam is on a team, it'll be a mid-season acquisition, much like you saw. But we already saw that, and it didn't work. No disrespect.
Do you remember the I'm back thing?
Not working out.
You remember the I'm back thing? I'm back.
I mean, he did have some touchdown runs. And
things like
that. So my point being is, I think he had more than one on the year.
I'll give him two.
But the point, there's an actual number, so we can find out, right? We don't have to just maybe three.
Yeah, right. From last year,
it's gimmicky if anything. Maybe Carolina. I doubt it. None of this stuff it works out for Cam. Coach Cam.
Another coach. I was telling Tommy that because Tommy D, our friend, is a resident Raider fan, and he told me about the fact he's like, "Did you see we signed Brian Hoyer?" And I was like, oh, you mean Coach Hoyer? And I took that right from you. And I said, Chris thinks that every quarterback who's kind of been seasoned and is done and just doesn't have anything left in the tank, but still technically can throw the ball, is a coach.
Coach Flacco.
So, Coach Flacco, right. Coach Flacco. He only has 2022 nothing. So the I'm back thing, that was 2021? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then he had 5 rushing touchdowns. He's back. Anyway, Cam Newton, not a starter, not this year at least. Anyway, found that funny. Now, when it pertains to the actual Mojo market, there are guys out there that you can invest in right now. There's an article written on I was going to spare you. Adam Rank came out with a mock draft, but I'm not going to go down that road because he just basically did it as like a fan perspective, like what each team needs. It's like, oh, cool. What?
That's what I'm going to do. Like, if we're going to do any type of mock,
we are going to do a mock draft.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've watched the film on.
What we're going to do is we're going to take
Boston
all
College
the
right
mock
tackle
drafts that you've seen. We've talked to Mike Renner of PFF.
So they're going to be like, yo, the right tackle from Boise.
Or you can just say they needed a right tackle. That's easy, right?
I'm going to say
a team need, right?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. But in any event, on the Mojo market right now, there are a bunch of running backs.
Go watch my film this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. Bury yourself in film because we're going to start mock draft season next week. We got the NBA playoffs to talk about and mock draft season, our own mock draft season. Enough of these guys that are out there doing their thing. And again, kudos to those guys who are putting out mock drafts 1, 2, 3.0, 4.0, all that stuff. But it's time for the Mojo market to predict where these guys actually wind up. So we'll do that next week.
Might pick a safety.
The who? The who? Packers might pick a safety?
I don't know. I mean, like they
haven't had one since Clinton Dix.
It's very, very false, but
who's their current safety?
Well, Amos, but I think he's gone.
From the Bears? The same Amos?
Bro, he's been on the Packers for like a decade at
this
point.
All right. Calm down.
It's the same Amos.
Such an ass. Anyway, new running backs, new places, new faces. I want to know who you, Chris, and I'll kind of chime in as well, who you think is going to actually succeed, kind of overachieve where they go, or probably might take a back seat. I'll list a couple, okay? New running backs, new places, new faces. We'll start in Carolina. Miles Sanders over there to Carolina.
Very good situation for Miles Sanders. I think he's at the very least going to be the same, barring injury, which is a precursor to all of this, barring injury. Unless I'm going to say
isn't that something that we were on for a little while, like unless of a catastrophic injury?
Because I don't know what else to say when it comes to the market. It's like, look, if he breaks his ankle, it's like void, everything I just said. But in some cases, I might say I think he's going to get hurt. So then I'll predict the injury, which is also impossible. But so who was the player
Miles
again?
Sanders.
Miles Sanders, yes. Very good situation to be in. I think they're going to be committed to the run. Do they even have a quarterback at this point? I don't know. Some stacked boxes potentially, but a very good defense in Carolina that I think is going to allow them to be very, very successful running the football.
Over the course of the last year, Miles Sanders is down 8%.
And a commitment with the coaching staff to run the football, I would imagine.
Yes, you would imagine. All right. How about some David Montgomery action, who now lands in Detroit?
Touchdown machine, probably. Very, very similar to a Jamal Williams role last year. So I'm in on him.
Speaking of Jamal Williams, new face, new place, New Orleans. Jamal Williams. Does he just kind of pick up where he left off last year as far as like
if you look at his
the short yardage guy?
He's been pretty consistent throughout his career. Last year, his best season. Is he going to duplicate that? 0% chance. But is he going to approach better numbers than he has? I'd say next season is his second best season of his career.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so not as crazy as last year, but still very successful.
Clearly he has the respect.
I like him being I like the Saints to be that sneaky team on offense. That their defense has always been kind of stout, but like you look at that offense now led by Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara's probably going to miss some time.
Yeah, I mean it's a good spot.
Michael Thomas.
But I don't think he's going to be getting the ball a ton. I think he's going to be the short yardage guy. And,
okay.
For that reason he's limited. You're touchdown dependent.
So for our entire adult lives, maybe even childhood, we've noticed that the Denver Broncos have always had a good running game, right? Javonte Williams will be the guy next year coming off injury. They wound up signing Samaje Perine. You think his stock can go up because of the fact? Well, I'm just saying, because you're coming in to back up somebody who's coming off injury. And what Samaje Perine's claim to fame to be is stepping in at that one time that you need him or two times that you need him.
So who was their running back last year when Javonte got hurt?
It was a bunch of guys, man. It was a plethora of running backs.
I mean, Perine, we've seen him for a ton of time in the league.
It was Melvin Gordon for a minute. He got traded off.
We've seen Perine for quite some time. And he's always been what he's been. I don't see like a significant.
Do you consider him maybe like a? I mean, look, you're spreading money over your Mojo Market. When you look at Samaje Perine, can you look at him as a bargain buy? He's $5.82.
I just don't see any chance for long-term commitment from a team to be the guy. He may get
a 45% in the last year.
He may get a spot start. Well, you should have gotten in on him last year.
I mean,
because I can't see it. You know.
Okay, so you think he's hit his ceiling as of right now? Okay.
I do, and maybe I could be wrong, but I like to have fun if I'm going to be investing in the market. And Perine to me is like, I'm going to sit here and wait for a potential injury.
Okay.
And if he shaves his mustache, maybe I'll
Fair.
consider it.
Perine's got a phenomenal beard. So we were talking about Carolina with Miles Sanders. We were talking about Devin Single. I mean, we were talking about David Montgomery leaving Chicago. Donta Foreman winds up in Chicago with a running team. It seems to be they've been very, very run hurt. Oh, really?
Run heavy because they run with their quarterback a ton. It takes away. You saw what happened with Miles Sanders. Look at the season he had last year. But for whatever reason, there was just no expectation that he would ever really be the guy running the ball into the end zone because you had Hurts. So it just pours cold water on your expectations for me when you have a running quarterback and a team that, while they will be committed to running the football, we saw what Montgomery was last year with the emergence of Fields getting 10 carries a game. I don't like it. I don't like it for a running back. He's getting paid, so he doesn't care, and it'll probably preserve his career a little bit. But no, I don't like it for his stats.
The Texans have been busy this offseason. They've signed a bunch of free agents. One being Devin Singletary. Now he's going to be running behind Dameon Pierce. Is Singletary even somebody to sniff right now?
No. Again,
right?
He's had an opportunity to start on a team that was as good as it gets, blocking, you name it, they were loaded on offense, and you're the ability to be the number one guy, and he couldn't do anything with that opportunity. All of a sudden, he's going to go to a team that's been trash for about their entire existence, and then all of a sudden, you're going to be the guy, especially when you have a guy in front of you that I firmly believe in, Dameon Pierce. That dude is the real deal. So.
Yeah, I do too. Bill Belichick likes to run the football, but he likes to do it by committee. Ramondre Stevenson's already kind of taken the reins over there, but they go out and they acquire James Robinson, who played a little bit with the Jets last year, and obviously
like
a Jaguar.
Belichick guy. I feel like if he does get an opportunity, he'll have one or two games here or there, but you could maybe see. I don't know how long Belichick's going to coach, but Robinson seems like
a lifer.
A lifer with
you can get in there.
At this point.
Right.
Like he's going to be there for the next 20 years.
Couple more. Now, we saw Miles Sanders skip town and leave Philadelphia. Somebody who went
I don't want to invest in James Robinson because I
don't think so either. Rashad Penny with Philadelphia. Right?
I think he's going to start, honestly, out of the gate. But again, the same reason why I'm not really too high on Foreman.
Right.
And why Miles Sanders was like down or only up 8%.
Yeah, it wasn't much. Last year we were kind of watching him and we're like, what the hell's going on here?
We're looking at Samaje Perine up 50%, and then, it's just that's what that situation does. I'm not on it. Nope.
All right, two more. Rojo in Dallas, Ronald Jones to back up Tony Pollard right now, but there is a couple other running backs on the roster that might be better.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
he might not make the roster.
Yeah, so no.
Let's be honest.
If he does make the roster, you could see 8 to 10 touchdowns on like 20 carries the whole year.
So Zeke
got the ball more.
Zeke got the ball more.
I don't know that they're going to be
still without a team. Go figure that one out,
on
man.
Rojo.
Do you have any idea like where Zeke can fit right now? I mean, we're heading into the draft season. People are about to
Dallas.
Listen, I would welcome him back. I know nobody else would.
Honestly, just sayonara. Zeke might not get a team. Zeke might be Cam.
That's ridiculous,
bro.
I don't know. It doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right, but you have to look at like there's another 20 to 25 backs now entered into the mix that are hungry, haven't been given a contract yet. Zeke's rich. What's he really doing? You know what I mean? He's like, all right, I got 8,000 yards. I'm good. This guy's got 0, and he's 22. So I'm going with the 22-year-old.
Last guy, we were talking about the departure of one Devin Singletary, replacing him in Buffalo, where Buffalo's always kind of not been able to lock down that running back. Right now, they look like they're going to lean on James Cook a lot, but Damian Harris goes over to Buffalo. And he was a literal, I want to say, bell cow for Bill Belichick for a minute before the emergence of Stevenson. Could you see some kind of good tandem over there between James Cook and Damian Harris?
I think it's a much better fit. I think, here's what I'll say about it. I think Buffalo right now has a very improved version of what they tried to do with Moss and Singletary.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Good call.
That's the best way I'll describe that. James Cook being the Singletary, and then the Damian Harris being a way better version
back.
than Zach
I like
Moss.
it. I like it. You can look up every single one of these players that we've talked about today on the Mojo app right now. A lot of these guys are stagnant because we're in the offseason, so now would be the time to, if you're really investing in your players and you're trying to build your portfolio over the course of the next couple of weeks before the draft starts, this is the time to do it. So definitely pay attention to that. And the only way you can do that is if you follow us right now on social media at Mojo, M-O-J-O. Very easy to find us on Twitter, Instagram, and the old TikTok. And, of course, join the Discord. That is where you're going to find all your rules, regulations, suggestions, everything that you could find it over there on the Discord. A daily conversation to be had with Mojo. So, again, huge weekend coming up for the NBA. The playoffs are going to start next week. I believe midweek will be the play-in series. So those will be interesting. We'll talk about it. We'll make our predictions on Monday. We got mock drafts coming out the wazoo. We got baseball that has been developing. Obviously we're in the first week or two of baseball, so that's starting to pick up. Who are you in on the Masters today? I threw him for a loop on that one. Let's go, John Rahm. I put some money on it.
I couldn't even tell you because half the guys that I know that golf aren't even in the PGA anymore.
Yeah, that live, right? So, in any event, go enjoy the Masters. I know I will. I know my brother's going to enjoy this over there on Easter Sunday. Everybody have a great Easter. Happy Passover if you celebrate. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on this weekend. It is, in fact, Good Friday. So, it is a good, feel-good Friday today. Yeah.
I mean, if
the more you know.
For those that are
good.
For those that are
celebrate.
religious.
Whatever. Yes, of
celebrate,
course. I know yesterday was Holy Thursday.
I think it's practice. For those that are practicing, because I don't think you could really consider all religious things celebrations. It's not like you're celebrating.
That's true. We don't want to celebrate some bad things that happened either. So, yeah.
Woo, grammar police.
So, with that, Monday starts a brand new segment on religion.
I don't think that was grammar. Anyway, the grammar was good.
Grammar was fine. For Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, this has been a great Friday here at the Mojo Market Report. We've lost Chris. We'll see you guys back here on Monday.